It continues to be the funniest thing in the world, seeing these college kids be so confidently wrong while trying to step up to Charlie Kirk, whether it be about immigration, abortion. They don't know what they're talking about, and they continue to regurgitate the ridiculous claims that have been propagated from mainstream media and from their college professors. It's absolutely insane. But before we get into that, I want to remind you guys to subscribe to Resist the Mainstream, because it ensures YouTube that you're enjoying our videos, and in turn, they will continually show up in your feed and they'll push it out to more people. I'm Titus. Let's get into this video.
How is crossing a border materially hurting Americans?
It's materially hurting Americans because it's breaking the law.
My family and I moved here, right? And we
from what country?
From Mexico, right?
Legally or illegally?
Legally.
Thank you.
We got a visa here, right?
See, that's the model.
It took a process, but we're living the American dream, and there's hard work that went into that. It wasn't easy.
But then when you hear people that come here illegally, how does that make you feel?
It's not good, because if people just come in, then we lose the identity of what a country even becomes.
Amen.
Right? There's a reason that there's a system and laws implemented.
Yes.
If you let them in, we lose the idea of what it means. That's a bar of what a country could really become. If you just let people in willy-nilly, it just completely breaks the foundation of our country. It breaks our laws. If there's nothing that you're following, if we don't have law and structure, law and order, then it's chaos. And that's what it's been. That's what we've had to deal with for the last 4 years under the Biden administration, is chaos. Allowing all these people to cross this border, giving them empathetic stories and trying to sympathize with them and justify the illegal action that takes place that undermines our whole process and being able to vet people and making sure that things like what happened to Lincoln Riley doesn't happen to our American citizens. This kid's a bar. And this is another thing. These people don't realize how messed up it is that there's people waiting in line, trying for years and years and years to come to this country legally. And then people are getting benefits for coming here illegally, and then having politicians justify that action. Meanwhile, they took years to get here. It's so unfair. It's so wrong. And I'm so happy that this kid is here to debunk the claims that this woke college kid is trying to justify with allowing illegals to be here.
To make a system work. And when you have enough people going against that, then that's why we have such a big divide. That's why we have a divide politically. That's why we have a divide.
So for you guys, I want to go to something that we both agree on, right? If there is unfettered crossing over the border, that would lead to problems because of overcrowding, right?
Not just overcrowding, though. It's not just overcrowding.
Let's just start with something we agree on.
But yes, overcrowding is one of several issues.
But there's people being sex trafficked. There's
320,000 kids. What an insult to his family, who had to wait in line and had to fill out the paperwork. And just to say those that didn't have to do that.
We're just talking about why the U.S. system is bad.
Well, it punishes the lawful and rewards the lawbreaker.
Overcrowding is the least of our issues. Yeah, I mean, at least I don't think that's I think it's actually we need, I'm pretty sure we need more people. I think we're not having kids at a rate that is sustainable for our country from what I've heard. And I know Elon Musk said that years ago. And it's like, we don't care about people coming to the country. That's not the problem. We just need the best and brightest, and we need them to come through legally so they can be properly vetted. And I'm like, that's the issue, because people are dying. Illegals have taken over freaking apartment complexes, and then our government has funded, given them like credit cards and given them like a whole life to live here on our dime. Like that's the problem. And the crime is like the greatest problem. Obviously, the other problems affect our economy, affect other elements that are issues that need to be like fixed. But the crime for me personally, and this is just me, is knowing that people that are not documented, that just disappear in the night and do some heinous act to someone like Lincoln Riley. That's what I want to see stopped immediately. Immediately. I need to see that stopped right now. And it's happening. We already see that Trump's started deporting people, and it's a beautiful sight to see, because we don't need this danger happening anymore. We don't need to see I mean, obviously there's American criminals, but these people are documented. We can find them, we can incarcerate them, put them through trial. If we don't know how to find, even if we have a picture, how do we find this guy? We don't know his name, we don't know anyone that knows him, and the people that know him are probably also illegal. So yeah, but it's crazy. These kids trying to justify. Let's start with something we agree on: overcrowding. That's the least of our issues, and I'm glad that Charlie Kirk pointed that out. And guys, we just get more crazy as we continue to go on, so let's go to the next one.
I've noticed that Trump especially, but also just the Republican Party in general, talks about immigrants as if they're these like incredibly violent criminal people that, you know, they're bringing crime, they're bringing disorder. Why is this something that keeps being talked about?
It's illegal immigrants, not immigrants.
If you actually look at the data, immigrants commit crime at a lower rate than natives.
Do you think it's a crime to break into a country?
I mean, like, yes, but that's not the crime you're talking about.
No, hold on. This is important. So they're all criminals by definition. So cities that have absorbed a lot of illegals would be Portland, Seattle, San Francisco, LA. You agree?
Yeah, but like when we do this, we actually like.
Do you think those cities have become safer in the last 4 years?
Excuse me, like you, if you want to answer this question, we have
that's
economists for this, and economists have looked at this and find that generally when immigrants come into a city, it lowers the crime rate.
Again, this is what's so important. I don't trust these experts.
So you're just doing napkin math? Like you're just being I can name like a couple cities.
You know what I do trust?
Safer.
This is what I trust. Do you guys feel safe in Portland? No! That's who I trust, not the economists.
Okay.
The wisdom of the population and the voters of this country, not a bunch of economists at Oregon State University that are publishing white papers. Do you guys feel safer or less safe than when you were kids? And yet they're absorbing more illegals. They're not making the cities better, actually. They're making them more dangerous.
Right, obviously. But I understand this guy's in enemy territory. And so maybe this pent-up aggression and this uneasiness and energy he's giving, it could be because of that. But I don't understand why they just come off so angry. Like, we're just having a conversation, bro. It's not that deep. It's gonna be all right. Everything's gonna be fine. But yeah, I don't understand. This is one thing that confuses me. I don't understand how we can ever come to a place where we're just trying to justify illegal immigration. Let's just say illegal crime happens. There's people that are Americans that commit crimes. There's people in America people that are in America that do evil, terrible things, but they're legally here. And so we'll take care of those problems when we get to them. But on top, why would we want to add on top of that? Why would we want to allow people to come across our border illegally to inflict more crime on our people? No one's negating the fact that crime happens regardless of whether it's illegal immigrants or American citizens. That happens. But on top of the American crime that we are dealing with, you want to add on and justify that, oh, well, they're not as much as the ones that we have. They're not inflicting as much crime as the criminals that are American legal citizens. We don't need to add extra criminal activity to the pool of crime. We don't need to add more illegal activity to the pool of crime in America. That's not something that, because we Americans inflict more crime on our country, it doesn't matter that there's a few illegals doing some crazy stuff. Like, no, that's not okay. I feel like that's like the argument some of them use. It's like, no, the first crime is coming here illegally. The second crime is all the other things everything they do while they're here because they're criminal, because they're here illegally. So I guess any action would be considered illegal. But anyways, you get the point. Oh, Charlie, what else you got for us?
All right, so I'm just wondering, with the abortion, right? I would say life is, or you're considered to be alive when you get your birth certificate. Yes or no?
No. That's when you're born.
Okay, then
that's why it's called a birth certificate, not a life certificate.
Why don't we get it before that then?
Well, because you're not born, because you're still attached to an umbilical cord, but you're breathing. You have a heartbeat, fingerprint, DNA. You can hear sounds. You have sensory emotions. You're alive. You're just not born.
Okay, but
that's why it's called a birthday, not a life day.
Oh, so God gives you. It's from God. It's a gift from God. Your life. It's not from the state.
Your birth certificate is when you're born, not when your date of conception or when you became into this world started.
So you would say life is considered at 9 weeks?
No. Conception. Do you know what conception is?
I do.
What is conception?
Well, having sex, and then
okay, well, no, not necessarily. It's when the
egg is fertilized.
Yeah, it's when the egg is fertilized. So everything from your skin color to your hair color to your height, to your likes, your wants, your interests, your tastes, your desires, whether you're an introvert, extrovert, all started at conception. You know why? It's your DNA. Your DNA is formed. You are not your mom, you're not your dad, you're a whole new being. And so science has proved this over a course of time, that is your starting point.
What was this guy talking about? This man did not know one thing about anything at all. That was an embarrassing encounter. You think life begins at 9 weeks? When is conception? X. Bro, what are you talking? Why'd you come up to the microphone? Was this a bet that you lost? Homie didn't know anything about anything. And like, here's the thing with Rob Schneider, I'm a Christian, I'm a believer. But whenever you bring up, God into an argument on abortion or honestly anything, obviously that's where a lot of our beliefs are founded. And a lot of people that are pro-life that aren't Christians, like, just because life does begin at conception, it doesn't work for them because if they don't believe in it, it doesn't really matter to them. So you have to come at it in a way, meet them where they're at, because they don't believe in God. It's like, okay, well, I don't believe in your sky daddy or whatever they want to say. So you have to bring it just to facts in terms of life begins at conception. Like that is a foreign DNA, not foreign DNA, because I guess it stems from the mother and the father, but like there's a DNA that is not the mother or the father's that is created at conception, to where that is a life, and it begins right there, and then that life has value because we have a right to life in this country, and so you should not be able to terminate it. It is going through the maturation process, and it will be an adult someday just like you and me, and that is where we should start our pro-life argument, because you are killing a baby. And obviously you can bring in your faith into that argument if you would like to. I'm not going to say don't, but I just think some people will just immediately dismiss you because of it. We have one more video for you. It is a good one, just like the other three. And these college kids, I'm gonna say, I have a heart for these people. I feel like the older I get, I'm become like a dad. I'm like, dang, I just feel bad for these kids. They really are being brainwashed by these college campuses, and I just want to see them be better. I want to see them do better. So let's roll this video.
Are you voting for Kamala?
I am.
Okay. What is her greatest?
Hey, free speech? Free speech?
Yeah, they have the freedom of speech to boo you. That's right.
Do I have the freedom of speech? Okay, so if I boo them, then it's an impediment of freedom of...
No, but I just gave you an open mic for 15 minutes. Let's just tell me, what is Kamala Harris's greatest accomplishment?
See, that's it. That's that question. You can't... Okay. The greatest accomplishment, that goes back to...
You don't know.
To sort of establishing an extreme. I can't definitively say, oh, this is the greatest, though, like, absolute...
Name an accomplishment of hers.
An accomplishment of her? She got in... in when she was the Hey.
Whoa, the what?
Attorney General of California.
I'm just curious, what has she done as vice president that makes you be like...
That uncomfortable smile he just gave, I feel so bad for this kid. I mean, I know, whoa, liberal, whoa, crazy. Yeah, but like, look at this kid. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's like, looks like, what, 18, 19? Poor guy. He's just coming up here regurgitating points that he's heard from, his professors or like from the media. And he just thinks he's just doing the morally right thing. He's not, but he thinks he is. And I just feel so bad. And this guy does not seem like an outspoken person who's like this super confident macho guy who's gonna go, stand up for what's... He's not William Wallace and Braveheart. This guy is really just like, okay, what they're saying is so wrong. I gotta go out of my way to do the right thing and like tell them. That's what it seems like what he's doing here. It feels so uncomfortable. I feel bad. I low-key feel bad, which is normally like 5 years ago, there wouldn't be all these people in MAGA hats behind Charlie Kirk going, oh, hoorah, hoorah. They'd be like, he'd be probably more comfortable because there's more liberals like just screaming and yelling at Charlie. But now he's in enemy territory, and I just feel look at this kid. See, I'm telling you, I'm getting old. My fatherly instincts are kicking in, and I'm like, man, you just don't know. You just don't know, man. But yeah, poor guy.
That's my gal.
What is the vice president's job? The vice president is just president of the Senate. They don't have much.
Oh, that's interesting. If it's just a ceremonial role, why do we even have a VP?
Well, that's not the point. I'm saying.
She was tasked to control the border. How is she done?
The vice president doesn't control the border.
Do you think Kamala Harris has done an objectively good job managing our border?
No.
Okay.
And she hadn't done a good job. She hadn't. And didn't. She did a terrible job, and that's why she's fired. So she didn't win. And, well, one of the many reasons why she didn't win, but yeah, at least he admitted to that. Respect. I want so badly for us to just be unified. We can disagree, but let's be kind to each other, right? No, and we can bust each other's balls. We can like make jokes and troll and all that stuff. Let's just not cross certain lines, man. But yeah, he was like, if I would have, you're impeding on my free speech. If you're impeding my free speech, I thought about free speech. You can say whatever you want. You have the right to say whatever you want. Even if it is like a hateful, terrible thing, you have the right to do so. But yeah, this is Charlie Kirk roasting the libs, roasting the college kids as he does. And honestly, I'm so grateful for him because he really woke a lot of people up and changed their perspective. And I think he had a huge part to play in Trump being in office, and he is in office now, and we're so grateful for it. And he's done a lot of good things so far, and I'm really excited to see where he goes in the next 4 years, because he just started. But all right, guys, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to comment down your thoughts below. Want to know what you guys are thinking? See you on the next video. Peace.